It was an all-out battle here at Frank Cush Field, but ASU comes out on top, 35-31 for Jordan Ham. I am Eliav. Goodbye. Welcome to the Sports360AZ post-game show. Jordy, the first thing I want to talk about is simply the competitive greatness of this squad. It doesn't matter who's on the field, scat, no scat, UCF, and anyone else, they're coming with the same intensity every time we see them. And that's not just Kenny feeding us stuff anymore. We're seeing it every single game.
Yeah, and you think back to last year where like everything that could go wrong did go wrong in certain games, and just the way the ball would bounce away from them, that always happened. And there's been plenty of adversity this year where ASU has just figured out the win. No Cam Scadaboo, no Keyshawn Elliott. Hey, who were two of the leading tacklers? Jordan Crook, Caleb McCullough. At the beginning of the year, AJ Cooper, the linebackers coach, was telling me, like, I really like the depth and everybody brings a little bit something different. And that's just kind of the talk you hear that time of year. And it's like, okay, coach, got it. But it's true. And they have found it truly is next man up. They've been able to figure things out no matter who's out there. And some of the big-time players that we know and are very aware of have stepped up, and some of the guys that maybe are a bit of the unsung heroes have also come in and made the most of their roles.
So let's talk a little bit about some of those unsung heroes. Montana Warren coming in and scooping up the block punt for the touchdown. You got LT Welch with a pick six right in front of the end zone. Jordy, who are some of your unsung heroes?
Yeah, and I think Martell Hughes, who blocked that punt. The special team snafu that happened with UCF, he was one of the ones making that tackle that made it where they were UCF was on their own one. And then you look at Rich Jacob Kangaika, CJ Fight. We've heard a lot of Fight, but those are two young guys in the middle of the defense that came up big with some big plays as well. And look, RJ Harvey got his, but I think this defense really rallied around the football and was able to limit things and put them in a position to win.
Now, we mentioned no scat. What did you see out of this offense that was able to give them a few different looks, even with, of course, the main horse not there?
Yeah, you needed Jordan Tyson to step up, and he did. Certainly 2 touchdowns and a third down conversion. I would argue his best catch as a Sun Devil. And then he followed it up with a couple really good catches after that. Shimon Mateer, who has really kind of carved himself out. He's a tight end, but probably the second most gone to wide receiver in this group, or pass catcher, I should say. And then towards the end, you had X-Guillory making some big plays. You had Melquan Stovall making some big plays. So they just figured out a way to manufacture. I thought Kyson Brown did a nice job in his first kind of really expanded role. Kenny said that there are plenty of things that he can learn from and take from, and he's excited for the future. And were there some growing pains in the offense? Certainly. Sam Levitt was running around a lot. But guess what? He didn't turn the football over. He was running for his life quite a few times, but he knew when to get rid of the football. He took a couple sacks he probably would want back, but you can live with that when you're not throwing interceptions, and you win the turnover battle week in and week out. That's a formula for success.
And he slid. He slid, ladies and gentlemen. That was a big deal for Kenny Dillingham. Rome was not built in a day. That's a quote from Kenny. And he slid. That's big for his health, of course. Yeah. Last one for you, Jordy. We talk a lot about, or we hear a lot about, the middle 8. Mm-hmm. What has been your assessment of the middle 8 for ASU? Yeah,
it was something that got brought up by Kenny Dillingham after their week 1 win over Wyoming. It's kind of like, what didn't you like? And he goes, I hated how we played the middle 8. That's the last 4 minutes in the first half, first 4 minutes in the second half, and can really dictate a pace. And you start going through these wins for ASU, usually they win those. They had a big one against Kansas. They had a big middle 8 against Texas State, where they're just able to turn things around, get the momentum in their favor, and go. And that's exactly what they were able to do. They're outscoring opponents 63-13 in that time frame this year. So again, just something I've kept my eye on all year. And they had that big plus 14 swing. The offense was really struggling, and then you let UCF makes a couple mistakes. I love the quote from Moneyball: if your opponent or if your enemy's making a mistake, don't interrupt them. Let them go ahead and do it. They did that, and they were able to get some good plays out of it, and that really swung the game in their favor.
Well, the Sun Devils with their 7th win of the season. Next up, K-State. For Jordan Ham, I'm Eliav. Goodbye. This is Sports360AZ.